أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين. Continuing in our discussion about the miraculous nature of the Quran and its many facets by which it is proven to be a miraculous text, the miraculous text. Start with, there is on, again, scienceabc.com. See, if you're going to prove something is a fact of the Quran, you have to find it from an objective source. If you want to prove a point, go to a neutral person that doesn't have a dog in the fight, as they say. So they said, there is a place where the seas that do not mix. There is, this incredible boundary isn't a mere illusion, but a dynamic interplay of physics and chemistry. Fresh water is less dense than salt water. So when they come into contact, a sharp boundary is created. And you've probably seen these pictures where one water is like miles long, many, many miles. And it's very like dark blue, and this one looks kind of brownish gray, and you can see right there. So Allah said in Surah Al-Furqan, وَهُوَ الَّذِي مَرَجَ الْبَحْرَيْنِ هَذَا عَذْبٌ فُرَاتٌ وَهَذَا مِلْحٌ أُجَاجٌ وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَهُمَا بَرْزَخًا وَحِجْرًا مَحْجُورًا. He is the one that caused the two seas to meet. There's one that is sweet water and there's one that is salty water. He put in between them a boundary that causes them never to overlap. Now, as far as I know, the Prophet ﷺ never would have been to a place where fresh water and salt water are meeting. And as far as I did look up, there's nothing like that close to anywhere where he has been in his life. So say, for example, let's play the angel's advocate, inshallah. Say, for example, someone told him that. If you're trying to claim you're the final messenger of God to humanity, and you know you're making all of this up, should you just take the word of some guy who came and said there was this place and the water didn't mix, and then you put that in your book, and then maybe it's proven false later? You see what I'm saying? So this is where we see the truth play its way out. If we go to ncscgeographicfact.com, mountains act as gravitational pegs. So where am I getting this from? This is a geologist. This is the geologist explaining, as a non-Muslim geologist, what mountains are. Okay? So it says mountains act as gravitational pegs that stabilize the Earth's rotation, motion, while orbiting along its heliacal trajectory, following the sun's motion through space. The Quran says, "Alam naj'al al-arda mihada wal-jibala awtada." What does awtad mean? It's a stake, it's a peg. You put it in the ground, and when you put the peg in the ground, right, do you keep a lot on the top, or do you try to go far down with it? You always go, that's how the tent will not get pulled up by the wind, right? And now geology is showing us that the underground mountain is usually 50% to 100% bigger than the one that's on the top. So under the Himalayas and under the Rockies, there's this massive place where you can see the actual, like you can actually see the different layers of crust changing in the form of another mountain. So Allah said, وَالْجِبَالَ أَوْتَادًا. He referred to them as pegs. But then here's the next part that they bring about mountains. The science website says, mountains are formed through tectonic processes, and their roots extend deep into the Earth's crust, providing stability and reducing the likelihood of seismic activity. The weight and pressure exerted by the mountains contribute to the overall stability of the Earth's crust. What did Allah say? Right? He said, جَعَلْنَا فِي الْأَرْضِ رَوَاسِيَ أَن تَمِيدَ بِكُمْ. Which means what? We put the mountains in the ground so that you wouldn't be shaking a lot. You see? So there's absolutely nobody on planet Earth. This is one of those ones Dr. Zakir Naik made the point. Nobody had any idea about any of these things. Nobody was saying mountains are pegs or that the mountains are stabilizing from seismic activity. So it's important for us as believers that when we go into this book, like I'm telling you, you have to ask yourself, how much do I read this Quran? Like how serious, if you're saying it's the word of God, I always tell the young people, like, if LeBron James wrote you a letter, like you won some contest, you'd be like telling everybody about it. You would memorize that letter for sure. For sure. And you would tell, look, this is the LeBron James letter that he wrote me. You see what I'm saying? When the kids get those academic achievements, the president writes them and says, oh, Barack Obama wrote me this letter. You see what I'm saying? And they know it. They could tell you it backwards and forwards, upside down and around. But how many of us treat that actually this book that we're listening to Is Allah talking to you. Allah is saying, come to me. I want you to come back to me forever in Jannah. I want you to have an eternity where there is no sadness, no anger, no disease, you will have proved yourself worthy. I'm just going to show you the way. I'm going to show you how to avoid the struggles of this world that you're in. How can you have success? So do we treat it like that? Or do we treat it like a holy talisman? You just, in Ramadan, just kiss it a few times. No, let's make sure we open that book, study, write notes, ask questions, get tafsirs out, and live accordingly. So may Allah make the Quran a witness for us and not against us, inshallah.